Hello and welcome to my world of crochet. My name is Dina and today I'm here with you for another yarn talk video. And as always, we can't talk yarn without me having my faithful mug of tea, which I have here, and it is the Lipton black tea with a flavor of Spanish lemons. And yeah, it's a nice black tea. Have to give them that. So yeah, it's still a little bit warm. Regardless, what have I been up to? Plans changed. So originally I wasn't supposed to come out with a yarn talk video today. But yeah, due to change of plans, I am able to pop out a yarn talk video. Amazing. I managed to finish the project, which I finished more or less during a Wednesdays Alive. I did have to finish a little bit more after the live because I ran out of time. But I finished it Wednesday evening, and that is the diamond bag by Drops Design. I used the Shapiest linen soft yarn for this. And it took me a bit more than 3 skeins, so 3 1/4 skein approximately. So that's basically here the lovely end result of it. And what I missed was basically on each side of the strap, I went around doing 1 row of single crochets, and then I did 1 row of slip stitches to make a nice, basically a nice edge to the bag, right? So that was the only thing I was missing. Here you see how the bottom is looking, quite solid, absolutely satisfied with the end result of this summer beach bag in the diamond bag pattern as named. Yeah, I'm definitely pleased. It's looking good. So happy camper, 1 project done. Awesome. And yeah, I've been working on other projects as well. So the next project I've worked on, and I think I've done that decently considering everything else going on, is the Fleur Mosaic blanket. And the Fleur Mosaic blanket is designed by Anke Wintermans, and it is I call it my eternity project because it takes a long time to make a blanket. And I've actually come to the conclusion that I need to reserve myself half an hour at least, half an hour a day to work on this, because genuinely, I want to finish this blanket in 2025. And it should be possible. Like, if I just put my mind to it, it generally should be possible. Of course, given my current situation, definitely should be possible. If my situation changes, then that might be different, because I am, as some of you might notice, currently a bit unemployed. And that means that I do have a little bit more time to crochet. But it also means that I am looking for a new job, at least if there is anything interesting available. So I am a little bit uncertain in that sense where the future takes me employment-wise. But the Fleur, I have progressed, and I now finished row 73 out of 129. So that means that I finished up row 72, which I had done a little bit of last time, I believe. Or had I not? Had I just gotten to start on row 72? I don't remember. And full row 73. And I am just gonna show it up because it's fully finished. I don't have a half a row currently working on. I basically just finished row 73, and this is the current look of the blanket, and we're really getting to a stage where I can't have it all on the screen. I'm pretty pleased with the progress if I just, put my mind to it and say, hey, I need to do that every day. It could also be that I say I need to do a side, like one, it has 4 sides, right? That I do a side every day, but I'm just not sure if I will have time for that every day. So then the question is, should I need to catch up, or do I need to do more, and how whatnot? I'm always allowed to work more on it, but I need to sort of averaging at least half an hour of day on this project to kind of, get going, right? I need to do another 3 rows with the Fuchsia Purple here, or Fuchsia Pink. and that will be row 75, 77, and 79. And then at row 81, I'm changing to the Plum, which is a darker purple. I already caked it up, and I actually caked it up before New Year's because I thought I had plenty of time and I had whatever oceans heaps during Christmas and New Year's, but I just did other projects, I guess. But this is the next color we will be adding to the scheme. And of course we still have the off-white, which will go through the whole project. Working with a 4mm crochet hook, and I think it's working up nicely. I'm happy. The project is no longer in the project crate because it just can't be there. It's grown out. I think that's the best way to say it, right? It's grown out. It's become adult or teenager or whatever. It needs more space, and that is what I'm giving it by basically right now. It's just laying on my table. I can move it around if we get visitors, but I'm just basically keeping it collected like this and folding it out when I'm working on it because it's just a bit easier right now. It's gotten to that size where that's the solution. But I am happy with the progress I've been making. So, what else? We have, just trying to keep track. I am still debating on what I am to do with my Firefly sweater. I might either, so I have two options currently, is I might add 1 or 2 more rows for paneling under the arms, or I might just sew the sides together and accept that I will not fit into it. Or wait for dropping weight. I'm still debating on that. For those that saw last week's yarn talk video, they will know the whole ordeal about it. So that is kind of a bit on the back burner right now. I'm thinking about what I want to do. But it's not a project that's kind of screaming to me to get finished right now because I'm just not 100% sure where we are heading. Yeah, so that's kind of why we are distant on it. It is a new eternity project for me. Who knows when it will finish, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Then I worked a bit on, but not a lot, on the CeylonTea Shawl. CeylonTea Shawl is by RedTeapotAtelier. It is one of her many gorgeous shawls. And what I did is I had to frog back 20 plus rows, and I have not yet completed those 20 plus rows. So as you can see, I still have some of the unwrapped skein here. This is the ombre, colorway 8 from the Linda Hobby linen soft cake. It's a 50% acrylic, 50% cotton, 250 grams, so 8.8 ounces to 1,000 meters or 1,093 yards. I did do some work, so we did add a bit rows. Let's see, this is the right side. So this is kind of where we are right now. And we are progressing. Still working on it. Yeah, not much crazy to say. I might bring this project with me this weekend. I am going to Germany this weekend, and I might bring this project with me as an optional project. If I manage to work up the yarn that's on here, or I could still bring it just as is in the project crate because it is still go off pretty easily. So I might bring this project with me to Germany because it is low size, key size project, but I'm not completely decided on it yet. That said, I'm still pleased with the progress I have been making on it. Then we have the, I would call it Thoughts of Ireland, but it's not Thoughts of Ireland. It's called the Butterfly Migration Poncho. That is by Drops Design, and that was chosen by the community as my next Drops project. And I have started. I haven't gotten far, and I've already deviated from the pattern. I am working in the Drops Cotton Light, which is a 50% cotton and 50% polyester yarn. It's the colorway Apple, I believe, which is the colorway 11. They recommend 4mm needles, but I'm using a 3.75 because that is what the pattern recommends. Also using the same yarn as the pattern recommends. It is a 50 gram skein, so a 1.8 ounce skein to 105 meters, so 115 yards. The benefit is, of course, these work up reasonably quick. So in my project of using up some yarn from my stash, this should be helpful for me because I will be using some yarn for sure. And how far have I gotten? I've done 5 rows. And yes, it will become a poncho. You make 2 equal rows, 2 equal long rows, which you sew together so that they turn into become the poncho. So yeah, I have made the first 5 and I am about to start on the next diagram in the pattern. They don't have written full patterns. They only work with diagrams for this particular pattern. So that is definitely important to know. Where did I deviate? I deviated from it already on the first row because they said to chain 94 and then the next part was to work in double crochets, but you had to, over the period of working in the double crochets, you had to skip some of those chains so they would have tiny gaps. So it would end up being 81 double crochets. I had missed this step, basically saying that I had to decrease my chain down to 81, and I find that working in double crochets in a chain ends up looking much nicer if you work a foundation double crochet chain. So that's what I did. I did foundation double crochets instead of chaining. So when I realized that, being at 94, I was like, oh, okay. So I frogged up 13 stitches. And then I basically just decided to work from here. So what I am missing is a very slight, not that visible gaps of small gaps in, but there was nothing indicating that I would definitely need them. So I decided I'll skip it and I'll just do straight on double crochets. I'll be fine. Hopefully that's gonna be true. I will find out when we get later on, but if I read it correctly, you know, right now I have the exact width that they recommend to me to have. Actually, I am maybe a few centimeters wider. It's not a lot. And further than that, it does work up pretty okay. Though I do need to spend a little bit longer on these stitches because the yarn does want to split if you do not pay attention. So to prevent that, I have splitty ends pointing out here and there because I'm not paying attention. I do need to spend a little bit longer crocheting it. And that can be due to the fact that I am using a slightly smaller needle on the actual recommended size by the yarn. But I do feel it, I like the stitch definition of this, right? It has a quite nice stitch definition. It still drapes pretty okay. So I still think this is gonna be good for a poncho. Yeah, and we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, this is the amount of yarn I've used so far. So we are working on it. And I'm curious how quick otherwise that I will be working up this poncho. But so far, I think the progress, while it's not much, it's progressing well. And as mentioned, I am definitely, without doubt, planning on making the other one exactly the same. So I'll make another foundation. I'll just make the same mistake on the other side. They will be equal. And I think design-wise that it's not the biggest issue for the end result of this. So what else do we have? I have a few things also to talk to you guys about. The first thing is I bought myself a birthday present. For those that don't know, it was my birthday this week. Happy birthday me. And I bought myself a birthday present. I did order it a while ago. And the reason for it, long delivery time, is because it came from Temu. I ordered the solid aluminium crochet hook set that looks a lot like the furls hooks. I would love to spoil myself on furls. Those I want are often either sold out or the price point basically versus the shipping time to the EU or shipping fee, shipping costs, import costs is also something that I struggle with then, is just a lot of money for a single crochet hook. And I'm not sure if I actually would enjoy working with them. So I found this, and it was still pricey, but I got a bunch of hooks. So I got this folder with crochet hooks in it. And I haven't tried them yet because I literally just got it with the mail yesterday. And I just unpacked it just to see if the contents was okay and put it away. But this is how it looks inside. Wow. And there is a 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, and 8 millimeter hooks here. And I'm definitely looking forward to working with these. And I am just going to, they are really tight in this briefcase or folder. So I'm just gonna get one out. This is a 6.5 millimeter. And what I really like about these is this is definitely an inline hook, right? It's nicely on the same level. And it's lovely. And it's not super heavy. It's definitely solid aluminium of some kind, which is probably why the price tag. These were like 50 euros. And I would probably be close to 50 euros before I've paid for shipping and import costs, etc. on a single furls hook. And they look quite alike, the furls. So I took the gamble and made this order from Temu. And that's the only thing I got myself. So I'm looking forward to try out these. And I have the right project actually to try out this with, because I wanted to make myself a headband. And I just recently, last week, made a headband for my mom-in-law. And I said, well, I realized Tuesday morning I was riding the bike to the local club and it was really chilly outside. I was like, oh goodness, I could almost use a headband myself. So yes, I am making myself a headband. And what was is while I did this headband with a 6 millimeter crochet hook, I really wanted to do that with a 6.5 millimeter. And here I have a 6.5 millimeter. So what I'm gonna use is gonna test out this hook. I'm gonna try and make a headband in the Seaman, but I wanted to make it in white. So I have a skein here of white with which I'm gonna use this hook and I'll make myself a headband, which is something I'm probably definitely gonna bring with me on my Germany trip. It is a project I can make out of my head. I've made plenty of them. I don't need a pattern, and I like something I don't need a pattern for in that occasion. So this is going with me to Germany for sure, but the headband, it's gonna be done quicker than it will take me to drive back and forth. So I'm definitely expecting that to be completed by then. The Julia yarn here is 3.5 ounce skein, so 100 grams to 170 meters of yarn. So that's about 180, 90-ish yards. It is 80% acrylic, 20% wool. You can wash it at 30 degrees Celsius. Do not iron, do not tumble dry, do not bleach. You can dry clean it, and they recommend a 6 to 7 millimeter crochet hook if you want to crochet with this. And I think the 6 millimeter hook, it was a little bit dense, but it was okay. And that's why I wanted to try working it up in the 6.5 just to see how that works. And I know I will have enough yarn left. I could probably even make 2, so I could probably also consider making one with the 7 millimeter hook. That is undecided yet, but I'm definitely bringing this one with me, combined with the crochet hook, in the purpose of making myself a new headband. And then maybe when I've tried these out a bit more, I can actually provide a more decent review of these hooks. There are reviews already here on YouTube, so I do not know if it's realistic or if you want me to do a review of them. Let me know if you want me to do so. So far, it's just my own birthday present to myself. And I'm definitely looking forward to try this. And I think this is probably the only 6.5mm hook I have. Maybe I have one else somewhere else. But I seem to be only having a 6 or 7mm, and this is a 6.5, which is pretty awesome. And I didn't even know that when I ordered the set. So bonus, 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 bonus. What else is that I've been looking into my scrap stash. And that is the reason for, as I said, the headband I made last week. I had yarn left, and this is the yarn I was using, which is also the Julia yarn. You can easily see there are room left here. So the ball is definitely getting a bit floppy. But I also have some other yarn scraps left because I think it's 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, that was during Christmas, I made a beanie using the blue yarn combined with another blue scrap I had. So I had the other leftovers of the other blue yarn here, plus I have the leftover of the blue scrap still here. And all these yarns together as 96 grams, so just shy of a full skein of Julia. That should be enough to make a beanie. So I am gonna combine these yarns, and I am gonna succeed, I hope, in making a very nice beanie out of these scraps. So I can use up the scraps so they're not just in my scrap pile. I think that's a great idea. So I will be making another beaner, slightly different than the last one I made, because I do like a little bit of differences in things. So I think what I might do this time around is to take the variegated yarn and alternate it with the solid rows. So work in 2 strands, and then basically for each row kind of alternate them a bit. That is my current thoughts right now, because there isn't a lot of this left. There is quite little, a bit less than half of what I used for the other. So the thought is simply to make this alternating project. The last thing I want to start on, as of right now, I might get other ideas, but the last thing I really want to get started on is a new design for a new bag that I really have wanted to make for a while. I already had the yarns for a couple of months, so I really want to get started on that. And if that bag turns out nice, the idea is to write down and make a written pattern for it, but also to make a tutorial for you guys. And for that, I will be using the recycled cotton yarns from Hobby, which is the We Love yarn, 100% recycled cotton. And it's either going to be in this purple, light purple, or it's going to be in this light gray. I have enough of both to make the concept that I have, or the idea that I have. The only difference is that the only difference between these two are the colors. This is colorway 16, which is gray, and then this is colorway 11, which is purple. That's it. They are both the exact same yarns, made in Turkey. They recommend a 5mm crochet hook, which is also what I will be using for the project. 100% recycled cotton, 50 grams, so 1.75 ounces to 75 meters of yarn, which is about 82 yards. I do believe I have like 8 skeins of each. More than enough to complete the bag design I have in mind, which is a bit of a shopper kind type bag. I want to make like an oval bag, so it's not round, but it's worked in the round, but it is lengthwise, more shape-wise like the diamond bag that I made, but yet somewhat different. The only thing I'm slightly undetermined on right now is if I'm gonna do a 1-strap version or if I'm gonna do 2 straps. And I am inclined to do the 2-strap version of the bag. I just haven't completely gotten to that point yet in my mind, but I 100% know how I want to build up the bottom and how I want to build up the sides of the bag. And I'm sure the straps, you know, when I'm so far that I can add those. the design will definitely come to my mind as to how I want to design that bag. And I am looking forward also to making tutorials for it and share it with you guys. So that's definitely something that is going to happen over the next, I don't know how long that's gonna take, but hopefully not too long, because what I will have to do is first I'll design it and I'll write down all the basics. And then after that, I will have to recreate it while taking photos for the tutorials and patterns, etc., and to write all that down. So that is going to be quite some work, and it might hinder some of the other work that I'm doing. But I'm fine with that. That is a goal I have for 2025, is to actually design this and come with a new tutorial for you guys, because I do not recall that I actually posted any tutorials in 2024, except for those that I reformatted and turned them into the left-hand tutorials, which of course is really good for our left-hand community. And the idea is also to do the same with this, except I will be posting both the right and left hand tutorial together, so that both right and left hand has the availability to access the tutorial for their preferred hand, for the hand domination coordination. So yeah, I don't want to leave one community out or the other. It should be easy and good for both. So there are plenty of things in my pipeline to come, but there is also a few things that might challenge me a bit the coming few weeks. And that is the fact that the good news is my mom-in-law has gotten the apartment offered, so I will eventually need to spend some time moving her or helping her move in. And that will take away some time I have. I also have applied to a couple of jobs where I know nothing yet. It could be I get them, it could also be I don't. One of them would definitely be a negotiation part based on their current requirements. If they're willing to negotiate, it could definitely be an option. So there is a few things going on that factor as well and up that alley. So I don't really know what the future brings right now, but I do have plans, and I do have time to execute those plans, at least eventually. I just probably need to spend some time helping my mom-in-law move to a smaller apartment. She's right now in a house. She needs something where the floors are equal, etc., because she is not getting younger. She's still pretty fit for her age, but she just needs something smaller to live in. So I'm helpful with that because she would help us. So of course I will help her back, like in any situation. And we'll just see how far I get with all the ongoing projects until next yarn talk video. So what I'm gonna say is take care and happy crafting until I see you again. And if you haven't done yet, don't forget to subscribe and hit the likes up for this video if you like my content. Bye.